Linda Callahan, and I am a member of the Board of Trustees of the Unitarian Universalist Society of Amherst. I use she, her pronouns. Welcome to you, old friends and new, young and old, in the Zoom and in the sanctuary. You are an essential part of our celebration today. Whether today is your first or your 1000th Sunday in our midst, we are stronger because you are with us. We are one people of many beliefs, many origins, sexualities, and genders. We are all growing, all learning, all loved. Just as you are welcome here. As part of our effort to seek feedback on the governance of our congregation, you are invited to join us during the first 15 minutes of any regular meeting of the board, or by chatting with us during the social hour, or by using the email address board@uusocietyamherst.org. We are grateful to be in community with you. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jennie Mack. I'm a member of this congregation and today's worship associate. I use she, her pronouns. This morning, we will be reading the story of Ferdinand and thinking about refusal and rest. I call us to worship with a poem by Julian Jamaica Soto called You Are Not Wrong. I need you to know that there is nothing wrong with you if you find the world congealed and unwieldy. You were never meant to serve money, to give loyalty to unprincipled power, to spend your joy frantically soothing yourself in order to tend wounds of being constantly dehumanized. I need you to know that your sense of injury and anger is not overdeveloped. You are meant for love and beauty. You belong where you are known and where your future is, not just a resource, but a promise, which you begin to fulfill by being unmistakably, irrevocably yourself. Come and let us worship together.
With me to see the pictures, especially kids or anyone who wants to come see the pictures. Come on up, yeah. I'm gonna move those over here. Hey everybody. All right. So this is called The Story of Ferdinand, and I'm gonna sit like this. You know this book? You have it. Yeah, I think your copy's sitting up there. So this is The Story of Ferdinand by Munro Leaf and illustrated by Robert Lawson. Once upon a time in Spain, there was a little bull, and his name was Ferdinand. All the other little bulls he lived with would run and jump and butt their heads together. But not Ferdinand. He liked to sit just quietly and smell the flowers. He had a favorite spot out in the pasture under a cork tree. It was his favorite tree, and he would sit in its shade all day and smell the flowers. Sometimes his mother, who was a cow, would worry about him. She was afraid he would be lonesome all by himself. "Why don't you run and play with the other little bulls and skip and butt your head?" she would say. But Ferdinand would shake his head. "I like it better here, where I can sit just quietly and smell the flowers." His mother saw that he was not lonesome, and because she was an understanding mother, even though she was a cow, she let him just sit there and be happy. As the years went by, Ferdinand grew and grew until he was very big and strong. All the other bulls who had grown up with him in the same pasture would fight each other all day. They would butt each other and stick each other with their horns. What they wanted most of all was to be picked to fight at the bullfights in Madrid. But not Ferdinand. He still liked to sit just quietly under the cork tree and smell the flowers. One day, 5 men came in very funny hats to pick the biggest, fastest, roughest bull to fight in the bullfights in Madrid. All the other bulls ran around snorting and butting, leaping and jumping, so the men would think that they were very, very strong and fierce and pick them. Ferdinand knew that they wouldn't pick him, and he didn't care. So he went to his favorite cork tree to sit down. He didn't look where he was sitting, and instead of sitting on the nice, cool grass in the shade, he sat on a bumblebee. Well, if you were a bumblebee and a bull sat on you, what would you do? What would you do? Sting! You would sting him. And that is just what this bee did to Ferdinand. Wow, did it hurt! Ferdinand jumped up with a snort. He ran around puffing and snorting, butting and pawing the ground as if he were crazy. The 5 men saw him and they all shouted with joy. Here was the largest and fiercest bull of all. Just the one for the bullfights in Madrid. So they took him away for the bullfight day in a cart. What a day it was! Flags were flying, bands were playing, and all the lovely ladies had flowers in their hair. They had a parade into the bull ring. First came the banderilleros with long, sharp pins with ribbons on them to stick the bull and make him mad. Next came the picadores, who rode skinny horses, and they had long spears to stick in the bull and make him madder. Then came the matador, the proudest of all. He thought he was very handsome and bowed to the ladies. He had a red cape and a sword and was supposed to stick the bull last of all. Then came the bull. And you know who that was, don't you? Who? Ferdinand. They called him Ferdinand the Fierce, and all the banderilleros were afraid of him, and the picadores were afraid of him, and the matador was scared stiff. Ferdinand ran to the middle of the ring, and everyone shouted and clapped because they thought he was going to fight fiercely and butt and snort and stick his horns around. But not Ferdinand. When he got to the middle of the ring, he saw the flowers in all the lovely ladies' hair, and he just sat down quietly and smelled. He wouldn't fight and be fierce, no matter what they did. The banderilleros and the picadores and the matadores. He wouldn't fight and be fierce no matter what they did. He just sat and smelled. And the banderilleros were mad, and the picadores were madder, and the matador was so mad he cried because he couldn't show off with his cape and his sword. So they had to take Ferdinand home. And for all I know, he is sitting there still under his favorite cork tree, smelling the flowers just quietly. He is very happy.
Does he sleep there?
Does he sleep there? I think sometimes maybe if he wants to. The end. So the kiddos are going over to Kendrick Park with Sophie, and is anyone else going? With Sophie. And we will sing you out with There Is a Love. For some of us, hearing the story of Ferdinand this morning was the first time we heard it. But many of us have grown up with Ferdinand. A lot of us have a nostalgic sort of fondness for this bull. I think a lot of readers see themselves in Ferdinand or aspire to be like him, someone who stays true to themselves despite pressures from the outside world. Ferdinand has been a mainstay of children's literature for almost 90 years. The book was published in 1936 in the United States and had incredibly varied reception around the world. Despite the publisher's predictions, it was a massive success in the US. Monroe Leaf, the author, says about Ferdinand that his intention was only to write a story that would encourage Lawson, the illustrator, to draw pictures that would make us laugh. Readers have interpreted Ferdinand as everything from a pacifist to a rugged individualist. It was burned in Nazi Germany and banned in Spain during the Spanish Civil War, but by 1938 it was so popular in the United States that Ferdinand was a balloon in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and Disney had made it into a short film. Ferdinand is faced with a bullfight that he didn't choose. The banderilleros and picadores try to rile him up and get him angry so that he will fight bravely against the matador. But instead, Ferdinand does what he always does, which is sit quietly and enjoy the smell of the flowers. I think maybe the reason this story resonates with so many of us is because we also find ourselves stuck in places, systems, patterns that we don't want to be in. We didn't choose to be in whatever our own bull ring is, and yet we feel we have no other choice. Ferdinand gives us a possibility model. He shows us that even when we feel stuck, we have the option to refuse. Not only do we have the option to refuse the bull ring we're in, but we can find joy and calm among that bull ring. It might also save us. Reading the story of Ferdinand reminded me of a story that Jennie Odell tells in her book, How to Do Nothing, Resisting the Attention Economy. She tells the story of a tree called Old Survivor in the Oakland Hills. During and after the gold rush, as settler communities were rapidly growing and expanding, the old-growth redwood forest in the Oakland Hills was logged for timber. The entire old-growth forest, gone. Except Old Survivor. Old Survivor was short compared to its neighbors and kind of a funky shape. It's scraggly looking and on a steep and rocky slope. Old Survivor didn't live up to the standards for what it meant to be a good tree for the purposes of timber, and so was left alone by the loggers. Not being a good tree was exactly what Old Survivor needed to be able to survive. Ferdinand and Old Survivor both resist the systems happening around them. They are inconvenient. But both the bullfight and the logging would have been the end for Ferdinand and Old Survivor. The reason they are able to survive is because of what Jennie Odell calls their resistance in place. By resisting the systems that mean to destroy them, they are able to survive. Our capitalist culture that requires more and more work for less and less pay is not designed for our survival. These systems were designed to maintain power in the hands of the few at the cost of the well-being of the many. But we also don't have a way to completely disengage. Throughout history, many groups and people have tried seceding from the confines of everyday life, only to find that on a really basic level as humans, we need each other. So how do we, as Ferdinand and Old Survivor do, resist the systems we exist in? Odell gives us some possibilities. One is to move away from the mindset of productivity and toward a philosophy of maintenance and ongoing care. To shift our ideas of success towards that which grounds us in survival and life and nurturing our basic needs. Odell's book is called How to Do Nothing, but she suggests that we can't simply do nothing. We have to replace it with something. We have to do something else. She offers an option of finding ourselves grounded in place, to get to know the local natural world that we are a part of, and become connected to the natural world by knowing and experiencing it. She writes about her experience of birding. As she became familiar with more and more birds, her experience of time changed. She had a more intimate connection to the world around her, and the birds took on new meaning. Ferdinand offers a similar answer: to simply stop and smell the flowers. There is not glory for Ferdinand in the flowers, no prize, but he gets to go back to his farm and his cork tree and keep on smelling the flowers. He gets to live. I bet there are ways you're already practicing your own refusal of whatever bull ring you find yourself in and finding others in that refusal. Maybe your refusal looks like growing your own food in your garden, cooking for the Wednesday community breakfast, buying secondhand clothes, starting a meal chain for someone having surgery, setting strong boundaries between our 8 hours for work and 8 hours for what you will, cultivating relationships that don't fit into typical boxes, teaching your kids about the inherent worth and dignity of all beings, including themselves. Tricia Hersey, the author of Rest is Resistance and founder of the Nap Ministry, might call Ferdinand's refusal rest. Our grind culture that is always asking more of us, always holding the promise of enough and rest just out of reach beyond the next item on the to-do list, the next job, the next step. The combination of grind culture and white supremacy have generated a world in which rest is not prioritized. Sleep, seemingly, is one of the few activities these days that cannot be monetized. Hersey's refusal takes the shape of communal nap experiences in which she sets up pillows and blankets and calming music to allow folks a space to rest. Emily Nagoski and Amelia Nagoski write in their book, Burnout: The Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle, about how much rest we need. Quote, "So how much rest is adequate? Science says 42%. That's the percentage of time your body and brain need you to spend resting. It's about 10 hours out of every 24. It doesn't have to be every day. It can average out over a week, a month, or more, but yeah, that much. That's ridiculous. I don't have that kind of time. You might protest. I might protest. We're not saying you should take the 42% of your time to rest. We're saying if you don't take the 42% will take you. It will grab you by the face, shove you to the ground, put its foot on your chest, and declare itself the victor. End quote. We cannot simply continue to run on the hamster wheel, chasing a carrot or running from a stick, and saying that we will rest when we get there. We have to rest, not just in sleep, although sleep is important too, but in giving our brains a break and allowing ourselves to shift gears. So rest might look like sleep, exercise, connecting with friends or loved ones, or activities that let your mind wander. Hersey says, rest is anything that connects your mind and body. If we live our lives like we live each day, who is it that you're answering to? What would it be like to resist, to refuse, to rest? To be a little bit more true to yourself? What would it be like to be a little bit more free? Please rise in body or in spirit to sing hymn 1017 in the Teal hymnal, Building a New Way. Our meditation this morning is from Wendell Berry. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests his beauty on the water and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with the forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting for their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free.
You belong among the wildflowers. You belong in a boat out at sea. Sail away, kill off the hours. You belong somewhere you feel free. Run away, find you a lover. Go away somewhere all bright and new. I have seen no other who compares with you. You belong among the wildflowers. You belong in a boat out at sea. You belong with your love on your arm. You belong somewhere you feel free. Run away, go find a lover. Run away, let your heart be your guide. You deserve the deepest of cover. You belong in that home by and by. You belong among the wildflowers. You belong somewhere close to me. Far away from your trouble and worry. You belong somewhere you feel free. One more time. You belong among the wildflowers. You belong somewhere close to me. Far away from your trouble and worry. You belong somewhere you feel free. You belong somewhere you feel free.
Go in rest, go in resistance, go in refusal, go in peace.
At the gates of hell, but I won't back down. No, I stand my ground, won't be turned around. And I keep this world from dragging me down. Gonna stand my ground, and I won't back down.
I won't back down.
Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out.
Back down.
Hey, I stand my ground, and I won't back down. Well, I know what's right, and I got just one life. In a world that keeps on pushing me around, I will stand my ground, and I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out. Hey, I will stand my ground, and I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out. Hey, I will stand my ground, and I won't back down. Yes, I won't back down.